I'm here with Ben from AFTV Media. Now, Ben, it's always a pleasure to speak to people who've actually been to the game because they bring a slightly different perspective. We're in the studio, you're at the game. Arsenal won, Crystal Palace 0. Tell us a little bit about the game and the atmosphere and how things unfolded.
Yeah, well, it's obviously a really important 3 points. I think the performance wasn't great. We certainly played a lot better, but at the end of the day, 3 points is massive. And with regards to the atmosphere, it was 6 out of 10. I mean, at points people were getting up for it, but yeah, it wasn't the best I've been to. That's for sure.
That's a little bit surprising because you're thinking it's a North London derby. Sorry, North London derby. It's a derby, London derby. Eze's first game against his former club. I would imagine Crystal Palace brought their fair, did their whole allocation thing. Thought they would have made a bit of noise. It was a competitive game. It wasn't like, it was one-sided or anything like that. I'm a little bit surprised at that. I thought the atmosphere would have been turned up a bit more for this game.
Yeah, well, as I was saying to you earlier, I think that in the last few seasons, the atmosphere's sort of gone a bit downhill at the Emirates. I mean, the 22-23 season, I always rave about how every game, even if it was a small game, small Fulham at home, whatever, it would be bouncing. And I personally put that down to the ballot a bit. I think...
When you say the ballot, expand a little bit more on that.
I just think that for me, before I had a season ticket, if when you had a red membership, if you queued on the Arsenal when the tickets would drop, if you queued on the Arsenal website and you took the time out your day, you sat there an hour before and you waited, you most times would be able to get a ticket. Whereas now with the ballot, it's just random luck, really. And so anyone that pays the £30-40, whatever it is for a membership, has the same chance as wherever you are, however many games you've been to. If you've got that membership, you've got the same chance. So I feel like, to an extent, I don't want to characterise, but to an extent, a lot of fans that necessarily, before the new ballot was put in, that went to, they go to 10 games a season, whatever, home games a season, that they would go. And now it's just blind luck. And if you don't win on the ballot, you've got to sit there on the ticket exchange for hours and hours refreshing in the hope to get a ticket. So... Okay. For me, it's just, I think a lot of people that would necessarily make noise are being pushed out with this ballot. And but to be fair, if I'm being fair the other way, that the 22-23 season, we were expecting to finish top 4 at best, whereas we ended up finishing second. So to an extent, people are going to be way more jubilant, thinking we're going to finish 4th and, nearly winning the league. That factors into it as well. The expectation now is a lot higher, so maybe the atmosphere would be worse. But I think
still a little surprised because I thought, we were top of the table. I'll be honest with you, we don't look like we're going to lose at the moment. I would have thought that would have reinvigorated the fan base. And like I said, I'm expecting a derby like today. I would have thought that the fans would be proper on it. So I'm a little bit surprised.
Yeah, I think that the level of expectation now is a lot higher as well. Crystal Palace at home, you sit down with most Arsenal fans, you think that's... I don't want in football, nothing is ever a given, but you'd think, you would expect to win that game. And so... when it's Real Madrid at the Emirates, when we've not played them in, 20 years or whatever it was, and you beat them 3-0, obviously everyone's going to be going crazy. And that night was one of the best games I've ever been to. It was fantastic, but crazy. Crystal Palace at home, it's, people expect to win, and so the atmosphere doesn't necessarily carry over into that, really.
Yeah. Okay, I hear what you're saying. Let's talk about the game itself then. Let's talk about Eze, as I said earlier, first game against his old club. A wonder strike. I mean, wow, that was some goal, yeah?
Yeah, great finish. I think overall, I'm still wanting to see more from him, really. I think because we know he's got real ability. I mean, you saw it last season with Crystal Palace. He almost, well, not single-handedly, but he was one of the main components. Him, Mateta, and their other key players was the main reason they won that FA Cup. And I think there's still a bit left wanting, I think, with him with the last few games. Obviously, he got the crucial goal today that gets us the 3 points. But I think overall, he's got a lot more that he can deliver, and we know he's got the ability to do it, really.
When you say a lot more to give, expand a little bit on that. What you want to see more from him?
I just think his influence, from me watching in the stands, and a couple of away games on TV, his influence, you look at the Fulham game the other week, he wasn't really doing... He was a bit of a passenger in the game. I want to see him more involved, contributing more. And obviously today he's got the winning goal. But even aside, you take that out of it. I don't want to be too critical, but I felt like again he wasn't influencing the game too much. And with a player of his quality, I think he certainly can. So I want to see more from him, really.
I think that's fair enough. A few of the guys in here said that as well. Okay, it was a brilliant moment, the real moment of quality in the game that separated the two teams. But yeah, I think on balance, you're probably right about that. Let's talk about another one of our incoming signings that's had a slightly, shall we say, indifferent time at the moment. Victor Yoker is. Some people were quite critical of his performance today. Now, you were at the ground. You saw it in real time. What did you make of his performance today?
Well, as I've said to you before, I always find it, well, compared to watching on the TV, it is difficult to really accurately assess individual performances. But to me, I thought he was okay. I wouldn't have any specific criticisms. He's putting himself about again, and I think a lot of the thing he needs more service. I think the first half, I don't know how many times he touched the ball, but it certainly didn't feel like a lot to me from where I was sitting. And
no, it wasn't.
But even again, there was a ball played over the top where he bullied one of the defenders, got on it, and managed to hold it up and play it out to Eze or whoever it was, and he's still doing well. I think he needs more service, and again, there wasn't many chances created throughout the whole game today, let alone that were falling to him. So I think criticism of him is harsh, really.
You know what? I would agree with that. I mean, listen, I've always said, and I'll keep saying it, a striker's currency is goals. It's all very well and good holding the ball up, bringing others into play, but it's the goals that matter. So, and he's still getting used to the way we play. We're getting used to the way he plays. So there is going to be that lag, what I call that lag. But listen, do you think he can still get 20 goals a season in the Premier League?
And in the Premier League, it might be a stretch. If we're talking all competitions, I'd certainly back him to do that. What's he on, about 5 or 6 already?
He's got 3 in the Premier League and 5 overall. He's got a couple in the Champions League against Atletico.
I would say all competitions, I think 20 is definitely not out of the question. Premier League, we'll have to see. I think that might be pushing it, especially adapting to Premier League and all that. I don't want to be set the standards too high. But I would, to summarise, all competitions, I think 20 is, I can definitely see him doing that. Premier League, it might be a bit of a stretch.
Well, listen, if we win the title and he doesn't quite get the 20, then I guess his job done anyway. But I'm still backing him to get the 20. Still a long way to go. We're not even a quarter of the way through the season yet. And we're top. Now, what was your thoughts in terms of the performance? I mean, we won the game. I would say, from where I was sitting anyway, we wasn't really overly troubled. Okay, Palace had some good spells in the first half, first 15, 20 minutes. Likewise, had another decent spell towards the end of the game. But from where I was sitting, I never really felt that we were going to lose control or lose the game. How did it feel in the ground?
Yeah, well, correct me if I'm wrong. I think someone said to me, we didn't face a shot on target again, which is just, what's this record we've got going? We haven't conceded a shot on target for 3 or 4 games or something, which is just ridiculously fair. You look at back 7 years ago with the likes of Mustafi and Socrates, when we would concede terrible goals after goals, and a lot of them would be really poor mistakes and stuff. So the level that we've elevated to is just fantastic. And I think, sorry, what was the question?
No, I was just talking in terms of the performance. I would say that apart from Palace having a good spell in the first 20 and maybe the last 10-ish, I didn't think we was under too much threat. I thought it was a controlled performance. Like you said, I don't think it was exhilarating. There wasn't put it this way, I don't think it's going to be first on match of the day. But then having said that, I thought we was always in control. Or pretty much so anyway.
Yeah, well, I think we didn't really, the only chances that we, from my opinion, from what I saw, that we really conceded were from our own mistakes, really. I mean, we saw the ball given, especially in the first half, a lot of really sloppy passes that resulted in Palace chances. But as I said, no shots on target. So if you're not conceding any shots on target, you're never really in too much of a threat to concede a goal. So defensively, if we're not conceding a goal, then we've always got a great chance of winning the game. And as I said, I don't think we played very well today, but if you're not conceding, you're always in with a shot winning the game. And again, 3 points is the main thing. So,
who would you say stood out for you today in terms of Arsenal? Which are the players that you think were our best players today?
I think Eze gets the goal, so he gets some praise for that. Maybe, as I always say to you, it's difficult to assess it in the stands. Gabriel, from what I thought, again, another clean sheet, so you got to give credit to the defence.
And he kept Mateta completely quiet, shut him down in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in great form the last year. Bags of goals, and I think he was causing Saliba quite a lot of problems. I'm hoping the change for Mosquera for Saliba is a tactical one, and he's not picked up a knock or an injury, because that would be, a big blow for us. But probably Gabriel, with he made a few great blocks, and he's always up for it, and he was a threat at set pieces as well. So as always.
I mean, we in the studio, we were saying that we thought Timber had a good game, his usual good game. Was that how you saw it from the stands, or did you see it different?
Yeah, I personally, Jurriën Timber, I genuinely think he's one of the most underrated players in world football, really. Arguably, I can't think of anyone off the top of my head who's a better right back in the league at the moment. He's been, especially, you think he's come off an ACL injury not too long ago, and I can't even think of a mistake that he's made in his Arsenal career. So he's always good. I guess you just expect that from him now, because
exactly.
he's always, I've never seen less than a 7 out of 10 from him. He's a fantastic player, yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because we were all saying that in here. So, yeah. Just finally, we've got what I say anyway. I'd be interested to hear your views on it. Pretty important game coming up in the week against Brighton in the Carabao Cup, a competition that over the years we've been underperforming in. We've not won it since, the early 90s, long before you were born. In terms of the type of team you'd like to see play, how strong or otherwise would you like to see us go for that game? Given him, we've got, is it Burnley at the weekend?
Yeah, Burnley and then Sunderland after that. I think you want to see some rotation. You think, but then again, as you said, we've been really poor, and especially in the last few years. I think we've been dumped out the first round that we play in, or the second round, the last 3-4 years. I don't know off the top of my head, but you want to take these seriously, but you don't want to pick up injuries. You want to rotate. So I think Lewis Skelly definitely come in, especially he didn't play today. Martinelli will come in. I mean, this is the thing.
A new centre-back pairing of Nkapie and Mosquera, possibly?
Yeah, you would think that you'd see that. I mean, as I said to you in the first interview I did the other week, the squad depth that Arsenal now have is just really, really good. And even with Havertz, Jesus, Odegaard and Madueke out, we've still got a lot to come off the bench. You can see maybe Max Dowman even gets some minutes. Yeah. I think I want to see rotation, but still a strongish side that that you would expect to get past Brighton and hopefully give us a chance of competing.
Would you start Yoker up top?
Well, there's no one else really to start. Havertz is out and Jesus is out, so I think
you could play Mourinho as a false nine, or false nine-ish.
I think, I'd expect to see Mourinho on the team sheet somewhere. I'm not sure if it will be for Yoker or not, but I think Yoker probably starts. Especially, he needs goals for confidence. So probably, as I said, with the lack of with Jesus and Havertz both being out, I think he does start. Yeah.
Okay. And finally, a result.
Sorry.
Brighton game.
Well, hopefully it's a strong team. We'll go 2-0 Arsenal, hopefully.
GFN Soccer TV, with all your favourite shows in one place, is now live in the UK with Samsung TV Plus.